Hello, my name is Jessica Smith and I'm the substitute teacher trainer at Study.org. Study.org has been training substitute teachers nationally since 1995, and we love working with school districts in setting up training programs for their substitute teachers and directly with substitute teachers and helping them feel confident each day they walk in the classroom. Today I want to take a minute and talk about a great way to communicate with the permanent teacher. So it's hard for substitute teachers and permanent teachers to communicate. There really isn't a lot of opportunity for that. Substitute teachers just receive a phone call or accept an assignment and say, yes, I'll take over this classroom for the day. Then they walk into the classroom and find a lesson plan, and then their substitute teacher is expected to just follow the lesson plan found on the desk. So that's the communication that comes from the permanent teacher to the substitute teacher. Now, how can a substitute teacher communicate with the permanent teacher? Well, there's one way that is really useful, and I'd highly recommend each teaching assignment for each substitute teacher to leave what's called a substitute teacher report. Now, a substitute teacher report, what does it consist of? A lot of people leave different reports, different kind of reports, or do this differently depending on the assignment. As a permanent teacher, one time I left my class for a substitute teacher, and I got back the next day eager to find out what happened, how much of the lesson plan was completed, if there was any behavior problems I needed to follow up with. And the only note I got was, it was a great day, which that's a really nice note to get. I'm glad that the substitute teacher had a good day, but it kind of didn't leave me with a lot of information on where I needed to pick up or if there was anything I needed to follow up with. And so even though it seems like, oh, a good note would be just, oh, we had a great day, a permanent teacher would appreciate a little more information. Now, another reason that a substitute teacher report is so useful is it's the way that a permanent teacher can kind of get a vibe on what kind of substitute teacher you are. And this is a great way to get additional requests in the future. If you leave a detailed substitute teacher report or make notes on the lesson plan saying we did this, we didn't get to this, we had a few extra minutes, so I provided a fill-in activity that I graded and handed back to the students. Those kinds of notes would leave a great impression with the permanent teacher, and they're likely to request you back. So just consider, what kind of information would you like to get from a babysitter after leaving your kids for a day with somebody else? What kind of information would you like to know? And you had some tasks that needed to get done with that babysitter. So a lot of detail for most teachers is actually really useful. And so I would encourage you to take time to put together a substitute teacher report that you can use at each assignment. This is just one page, maybe it has your contact information on it, that you can leave and fill out during the day, that you can leave for each teacher. For those who have the substitute teacher handbook or have taken the SubSkills online training course, you have access to several substitute teacher reports that I'd highly recommend downloading and using regularly as you visit classroom to classroom. So what should be on a substitute teacher report? This is a great question. So it should have your name and contact information if you're interested in leaving that. Just a quick note saying thanks for letting me substitute teach in your classroom today would be really appropriate. Say I really enjoyed your students. Thank you for the detailed lesson plan you left. Showing appreciation for what the permanent teacher did to help your day go more smoothly would be really appropriate. Any notes about behavior? I would actually shy away from commenting too much about negative or inappropriate student behavior and leave a list of students who were particularly helpful. In younger grades, you can have students say, I'm leaving a list for your teacher of those who are helpful, of those students who go above and beyond, who do a great job working or meeting the class expectations. I'm going to leave this list for the permanent teacher. And that's a good reward and motivator to let the permanent teacher know who was particularly helpful and on task that day. I would leave notes about what material was covered from the lesson plan. Again, avoid too many negative comments. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. Again, this is the only impression that the permanent teacher is going to have of you besides what the students say. So I would really recommend being complimentary of the permanent teacher. I would recommend saying which students were so helpful, so useful for you, and stepped up their game to make it a better day, and what you found particularly helpful on the lesson plan. So again, this is just a note covering what was covered during the day, helping the permanent teacher kind of pick up where you left off the day they come back from the day they had to be out of the classroom. So for those who regularly leave substitute teacher reports, in the comments below, share what things you generally leave. Do you leave a business card? A lot of substitute teachers have business cards, so share your ideas on how to make the substitute teacher report even better.